Good afternoon, YouTube. This is man on my way, George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Combat Sports Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, this is, as you know, I do focus a lot on women's bodybuilding, but I still try to keep up with my MMA content, as often as I can. But this is something that really hit me in left field. I saw this yesterday, but I was so busy working on other stuff that, I needed time to get to it. So, as you know, if you hadn't heard, Kayla, as we call her, Kayla Hypejob Harrison, has got signed for the UFC. And that was a big question. There's a big debate that is Kayla Harrison UFC ready now? She's a record like about, I think, 16-1. With her last win against Aspen Ladd and her only loss against Larissa Pachinko, she would beat. But as you know, she's now going to make her UFC debut in April and UFC 300, which is the biggest event for the UFC, for pay per view, and it's gonna be up against Holly, the preacher's daughter, Holm. And I'm wondering, the big question is, what when are they gonna sign it to? And, with Holly, what Kayla, he's been for a long time was docking, maybe going to UFC, and Dana White, sorry, I used the wrong name. Dana Wife beater. He was like, I think he really saw interest in Kayla Harrison because he reminds her so much of the woman who really started WMA in UFC, and that is Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey is a medal winner as Olympian judo, but not as many as Kayla, with 2 gold medals back to back. And the debate is, the talk is they're going to fight at 135. That's crazy. Kayla Harrison is too big at 135. Holly has fought 135. She fought for the title against Jareen Randome. She fought against Chris Cyborg. She fought against what was her name? Megan Anderson. She's fought for that title. Originally, the plan was after she lost her 135 title was that she was going to be the new queen of 145 till she lost to Jareen Randome. And Kayla, if you know anything about Kayla, she's too big. She has a lot more muscle mass. She was fighting lightweight in over PFL for a long time, but you just can't make that weight. Come on, 145, 135, it'd be crazy. She has to completely drain herself out, and just maybe she said one time she cut her arm to make 135. And then there was, as you know, PFL bought the rights to Bellator, and now Bellator is part of PFL. Just I saw they dropped a couple of fighters, and and also I heard that. Shout out to my man Carmen Breaker 99. Glad to hear you back, brother. She said that the PFL is going to drop their 145 division. I mean, didn't they a while back they had a 145 tournament? Was it last year? It don't make no sense. And you get somebody like Cyborg, she needs somebody. Cyborg can't make 135. She needs to kill herself making a catchweight fight. When she debuted back to UFC against Leslie Peacemaker Smith. And PFL need to keep their 145 division because now you have a lot of women for 145 coming, like Sarah McMahon, Arlene Blanco. There's supposed to be originally a plan for the Bellator buyout was there's going to be a fight between Chris Cyborg and what's the name? The girl who beat Sarah McMahon. His name's going to pop in right now, but I'll try to remember later on. And Kayla was training with Amanda Nunes, the former double champ, and she's already talking about, I want to check out these Brazilians, I want to check out Brazilians. But I remember my man Coach, the coach, how he told a story how Amanda Nunes will Patel in sparring. So if you can't get past Nunes, how you gonna get somebody like Holly Holm? Even if you can make 140, if you can make 135, it's gonna be crazy. I just don't see it. And as you know, Larissa Pacheco is now the new lightweight champion over there. But I think because they're now pushing for 145, she's supposed to be the new 145 champion. And there was talks about a fight between Kayla and Chris Cyborg. But now I think they're pushing for a fight between Larissa and Cyborg since Kayla has jumped ship from PFL. And it wasn't that long ago she fought a when PFL was suspended because of issues with during the pandemic because they wouldn't have no shows. She fought at 145 at Invicta. It was one fight against one girl. She beat that girl to death, and over 145 over at 145 over at Bellator, was pretty stacked, And here she just beat someone like Aspen Ladd who had issues making weight at 135. That was the last opponent on her PFL contract was against Aspen Ladd. And Aspen Ladd, I don't know how she had problems making 135. why, if you're going to get rid of 145 at PFL, well, you got people like Aspen Ladd, you still got, oh no, they did cut Julia Budd, but you still have people coming from Bellator. A lot of women who probably can make 135, but many of them are naturally more 145ers. You still got Kat Zingano under contract, and Arlene Blanco, quite a few others. It just don't make sense. PFL need to keep the 145 division. Or maybe, I don't know, they might try to research the 145 division. You still have people like, chasing Macy Chason. You got Chelsea Chandler. You got Norma Demont. You still have Daniel Wolf, who to me shouldn't have been signed. He should have given a contract to Tanisha Tennant. She can do 135. But it's just crazy. So now the big thing is that Kayla is ducking the fate. She's running away from the board. She's been calling out Chris Cyborg, talking about she want to fight with with these Brazilians, yeah. And now, I remember it was a wrestler from back in the day. If you remember, I used to remember NWA. It was very popular right here in the South. It was a wrestler called the Redneck Captain Dick Murdoch, and he had a feud with Dusty Rhodes, and he called Dusty Rhodes yellow belly, egg sucking dog, and that's what I mean. That's how I feel like about Kayla Harrison. She's a yellow belly, egg sucking dog. I mean, she's running away from the fade. She's ducking Cyborg. Something like Jermaine Durante did when she got the 145 title at UFC. Instead of fighting Cyborg, she gave up the title, and then boom, and that's why I don't have respect for people who duck fades. And Kayla is a fade ducker. You're talking all that junk, and even when the time when she was over, one time, I think in one of the Cyborg's fights, she was there at Bellator at ringside, right there watching the fight. So I think she's scared. She's scared. I mean, and she can't take another loss. I mean, when she lost against Pacheco, she just went, disappeared. But she came back, she fought. She kind of did like Ronda Rousey did. Ronda Rousey, I gave Ronda Rousey respect when she lost against Holly Holm. She came back, she fought against Amanda Nunes, but took a whooping. I think I was trying to think of somebody else who took a whooping. You remember, Cupcake Hate Taste, she took a whooping against Holly. No, not Holly, against Amanda. And then she just, no. She kept on fighting. She did. She fought 2 more fights after she lost her title to, I think she fought 1 more fight after she lost her title against Amanda Nunes. And one person, I think, Gianna Carano. That's who I say who I have no lot of respect for, because after when Cyborg kicked her tail, she ducked and ran. She could have went over to, I don't know, it was talking about maybe going over to UFC back then, but it never happened. But Kayla Harrison, Hypejob Harrison, you ducked the fade. You ran from the board. The quote from my class's favorite show, Star Trek: The Next Generation, you cannot resist the board. Resistance is futile. And that's what happens. Resistance was futile. So she decided to just run. So she's over there with Dana Whitebeater and his team. I don't know how long she's going to stay over there. If she loses against Holly Holm, then she might as well go ahead and quit. And my man Coach, shout out my man the Coach. Shout out my man Carl Breaker 99. Shout out my man BJ No Filter, and also my sister TK Brown, and all you who do content on MMA. We really kind of just bewildered by the actions of Kayla Harrison. I understand she want to make some money, and UFC, you can make a good chunk of change, because it's a big organization. But PFL is pretty good, and also PFL is like a seasonal organization. But now I think they want to span, not just be just a few months out of the year. They want to be more a broader organization, and she would have been a star over there. She stayed. But I think, like I said again, she was scared of the board, Chris Cyborg. So, and also, shout out to Chris Cyborg. Congratulations, her last fight, she knocked the girl out. I want to say that, she's pretty good. I think, Chris joined boxing. And, there's also a possibility of her going over to maybe BKFC, bare knuckle fighting, and do a little fight, because Christine Peralta challenged her at her fight. Chris is just keeping busy, because right now her title's up for grabs. The Bellator title's gone, and she has a shot at Pacheco. But Chris really wanted a piece of the Hypejob Harrison. So but like I said, if she can make weight, it'd be a miracle. I mean, this girl has a lot of muscle mass. And I do content on bodybuilding. She has a lot of muscle mass and size. She's probably maybe 170 walking around, and trying to make 135. That's a little over nearly 40 pounds to go down to that weight class. She's not going to do it. She's not going to make it. So there would be no choice for that fight to be against Holly Holmes at 145. And then grow the 145 division. You still have fighters that probably need to fight at 145 who kill themselves trying to make 135. But anyway, I just feel like it's just crazy. And like I said again, Kayla Harrison, the great late Captain Dick Murdoch, your yellow belly, egg sucking dog. This is Man Always Dress Page, aka the Emperor of Female Combat Sports Talk. Like, don't like, subscribe. I'm out.